Welcome to the Becoming a First-Rate Duelist podcast featuring House of Champs and Dude Logs. We're on YouTube, Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, etc. Please like, comment, review, subscribe, and if you want to catch these live, go to twitch.tv/5th-rate-duelist. And if you want to ask questions or suggest guests, then hit me up on Twitter. I often post on Twitter. Ask my guest questions because I'm too dumb to think of questions on my own. So, yeah. Would you guys like to introduce yourselves?
What's good, YouTube? And welcome to Fifth Rate Duelist channel. That was it. That was the introduction.
That was House of Champs for anyone that lives under a rock.
No, that's totally Duel Logs. Yes, I'm famous World of Warcraft, also videoer.
Okay, Duel Logs, your turn.
Okay, it is me, the Duel Logs. I run a YouTube channel called the Duel Logs, where I post my stream clips. And that's about it.
So a funny topic actually came up that you were talking about right before this, and that was Master Duel. And while it's helped a ton of creators, similarly to Fifth Rate Duelist streams, it also really hurt my streams for a bit there when I was like trying to do Master Duel. And I think it's like no matter how I structured it, my audience did not like it compared to Dueling Book or IRL cards or talking about card prices. And the more I tried to play it, the more people that wouldn't regularly tune in or people that were used to what like my old stream structures would not like it. So I do think there's actually an element to Master Duel did hurt that. And also Master Duel's popularity has been waning to a degree. For video views and series, I'm still seeing it do well, but a lot of the streams have like lost about half the viewership versus that initial hype as well, I feel like.
Yeah, that's all true.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think the biggest thing is like the VTuber community seems to really like it, and they've been doing pretty successful.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy that there's like there was such a huge boom in VTubers in Yu-Gi-Oh! Once Master Duel came out. Just because the game facilitates like viewer duels. There's like a meta in the VTuber community with just doing viewer duels because people will literally come into your stream, and if you're not doing viewer duels, they'll ask you, why aren't you doing viewer duels? Like, they just want to play against VTubers on stream.
Streamer, do the thing that I want. Streamer,
yeah,
interact
directly
like, with me.
When you doing viewer duels?
Yeah, there's always that pressure from an audience when it comes to streaming, and you have to either take the reins and figure, well, I know what really would be good for this show, or the viewers are just right and you were wrong all along. It's usually one of the two routes.
Yeah,
Dude,
it's usually like a combination.
I want to play with viewers, like, no one wants to play with me. But that might be because I play Megalith.
No,
Drytron is not the most fun connotation from early.
Megalith.
No,
different.
One of my friends plays Virtual World, and back before they banned VFD, she would just floodgate everybody she played against, and people were like lining up. They wanted to play her. It was she still does the same stuff all the time, but like just because you play a toxic deck that takes forever to do your combos and has floodgates doesn't mean people still don't want to play against you.
I played against the streamer.
Yeah, they just want to play against the streamer, and then they cheat like crazy, and they just main deck a whole bunch of kaijus and direct outs to your board.
Yeah, I have something for this deck.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah,
they love to cheat because they want to. They not only do they want to play the streamer, they want to win against the streamer.
Yeah,
but yeah, Master Duel in specifically, like, I would also, similarly to Fifth Rate Duelist, do viewer battles, and I would get a bit of a line, and some nights it would go the entire night, where others it would be like 5 people, and then the same people looping again and again and again, and then to the point where like 3 people would duel, and then nobody would want the free viewer battles, because usually I use it as an incentive. It's like $2, anybody can do it, but there would also be nights where I would just unlock free viewer battles all stream, anybody can do it, and eventually the line just got shorter and shorter and shorter, and I won most of them, but like I don't think that's the connotation. I think it's more just Master Duel's popularity waned specifically for my streams. It wasn't as good of a setup in terms of what my audience wanted, and I kept pushing towards it, seeing everybody else do well with it, yet my audience in particular, it just does not mesh with.
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't even know there was problems with Master Duel. I just thought Master Duel was a boon to everybody.
I think
Yeah.
most
Like, the
people
first time I-
definitely benefited greatly from it.
Yeah, because like I used to stream Yu-Gi-Oh before it, where I would just basically do Duel Links, and nobody wants to watch Duel Links. And then as soon as Master Duel came out, I swapped over to Master Duel because it's a lot better, and like the views like went up by like 5 times almost.
Yeah,
They've
Master Duel.
definitely gone down in half, but it's still higher than when I was just streaming Duel Links.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of a better legacy of the Duelist still. Like, that last tournament was a glorified festival that didn't have prizing, and my audience started out competitively minded. I had Billy on the channel, I covered events, and I still cover market prices, why they're going up and down, so people to a degree either have to care about, oh, this is expensive become, and understand the interactions of why, or they just want to see number next to card, and that still goes into the physical realm of cards, so my content's just completely tailored away from people caring about that. They want to see new cards in the current meta game. What's this on top rated dueling book? That's a tech I didn't consider. Where in Master Duel, it's this different best of one format that's half a year to a year behind and just doesn't have any new interactions versus what they've already been seeing.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
balance.
Besides Maxi.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
hate
just
Maxi
hate
so
that it's
much.
behind. Like, I would play it more if it was, like, current, because that would be helping me with TCG, but, like, it doesn't help to learn tier limits, like, 6 months after it's meta.
Mm-hmm.
I think with the
Like, you're
content
behind.
overall, though, it's a great, like, visual. It's a way better watcher's sport for Yu-Gi-Oh! In a sense that,
Yeah.
like, Dueling Book is what we've got, and the judges aren't on late at night half the time. And so for a viewer experience, like, sometimes they actually enjoy getting caught up in that. Will a judge appear? How's this guy against John? What's he gonna do? Like, well, it's there. But then the other times it just gets boring when it goes on for more than 20 minutes and the judge isn't going to show up.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
think Dueling Book just looks not good to stream.
Coder has the solution to that. You can kind of customize your own dueling book on the back end. I think he has the best look. If you look at, he's a judge, so he knows the back end more of it. But like, I've done it too. You can actually go into Dueling Book's coding and change how it looks on your side.
Oh.
So like, you can have
Mm.
different backgrounds, different layouts, kind of like Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro. But you have to know what you're doing. You literally have to be a coder, but
Yeah, I just don't think it looks very good to like watch because it takes too long to do everything too.
yeah, the manual aspect is what some people like, though. Like, how do you fill that
Yeah,
with? For me, I concentrate on the duel, the maximization on the plays, what my opponent's going to be doing, and I don't always talk during it. So I just kind of zone in, and I'm like into the game, and I start ignoring chat, and it's really bad for me on that aspect too. I have like a lot of things that I'm self-aware of, and I can't necessarily help when it comes to like streaming and games, because like any game I'm like that. Like I'll be playing like what was it forever ago, Sonic on a Game Gear, and my friend's like, are you all right? You look like a family member died. I'm like, no, I'm just trying to finish the level.
Oh yeah, when you get super hyper focused.
Yeah, I do that
It
a
really
lot, though,
takes
with
a
games.
lot of practice to like talk through your thoughts whenever you get like that.
I'm
You
not a
can train
fan.
yourself to do it. It's just like, you know, just like when you're playing sports, you have to train yourself to automatically respond to certain events.
I'm not
Yeah,
a fan personally of the talking through what you're actively doing in game content, but I know a lot of people appreciate it because they don't necessarily do it. Like, I'll see people really compliment, say, the Fortnite players who are able to actively basically commentate their own game as they go, which I do get is a skill to a degree because you're concentrating and also like going through it. But I don't know, something about watching it, it's like I would rather there be a secondary person commentating in that kind of setup. It might just be what
Yeah,
I'm used to from like tournament
because
settings.
sometimes just because you're talking about what you're doing doesn't mean you're good at it. Like you
Yeah.
can still just be kind of annoying if you're talking through everything you do.
Yeah.
And then that also kind of kills the interaction with the viewers as well.
Yeah, I've seen some people who are playing games, they're talking through everything they do. The streams are just kind of unwatchable because they're just saying random stuff, basically. It's like, yeah, technically you're saying what you're doing.
Alistair, and activate the effect to search for invocation.
Yeah, they're just doing it like rote memorization almost. And it's like, unless you have something to say, if you summarize it a little bit, I don't know, it's just like there's an art to it. And just because you can do it doesn't mean it's going to be entertaining. But it's
Yeah.
probably better to try than to just be silent. Because silent streams, there's not really a market for that unless you're like a pro player.
Yeah, exactly. Like, people want to hear talking. But I also
Yeah.
just don't know what to say during a Megalith combo. It's like, I suddenly feel an ad for like the 5th time in the same turn. Like, I keep using these non-once per turn effects to gain like 40 cards in my hand and I still lose.
Yeah, like if I'm doing a combo which takes forever, I usually just like have stories to tell or just have a conversation topic, or if I just don't have anything, I just ask chat. It's like, so this combo's gonna take forever. What have you guys been up to? Then I'll just take something they say and just talk about that.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
then-
one thing for me with chat that I really like is I kind of joke that it's a reverse parasocial relationship, but like my social life got destroyed during the pandemic, and then Billy and Jackie moved out as well. So it's me, my wife, and I keep up with family, and my furthest local or closest locals now an hour away since the one 15 minutes away shut down. So it's like I just don't keep up with anybody outside of the creator sphere in a sense outside of that. So like hearing about people's regular lives, what happened at late shift for the security guard, that sort of stuff becomes like what I really enjoy keeping up with. I'm like, yo, how's the job? Like I don't know, there's just something about that specifically that does a ton for me, and that definitely does a great job of like also filling dead time but keeping up with people.
Yeah, I didn't even think about like following up on that because I have so many I have too many people in chat to like really keep up with how people's lives are doing.
That's
But
one
there are
thing with
enough-
bigger streamers that
Yeah.
like it does get hard and people get buried in chat.
Yeah, like I have a secret stream that I do like on the side where it's much smaller. There's no subs or bits or anything. It's great. And the smaller stream is so much more fun to talk to than the large one. And I think it's really just when your chat's going by so fast, it's just a nightmare because it's just people spamming memes.
Yeah, people made fun of Ninja for saying he was so happy to go back to having like his roots, quote unquote, in streaming, aka a smaller stream. But like there is a huge blessing to like having the pressure off. He started playing a lot of that old school or Final Fantasy game that was the open world RPG one, and he just seemed so much happier doing it. But people were like trying to make fun of him and think it's all about being on top and trying to laugh at someone who was on top and fell off, not understanding like, dude, he got the bag and now he's like doing whatever he wants.
Yeah, he has the I can do whatever I want kind of money now.
Exactly.
What he wants to do is just keep streaming. Because streaming's fun, but like there are aspects of it that are annoying as
Oh yeah, the guy who will always ask if I smell like corn on Dueling Book.
do you smell like corn?
Do you smell like
What?
corn? Of course, that's the like best multi-alt stalker I've had. Like I've had the ones that like try to make up all these stories or do terrible allegations, and they multi-alt and
Yeah.
act like a victim, and then they act like
Don't
they're
people
their
hate you
brother.
because they think you like manipulate the card market?
Yes, yes, I am the whole reason. I am the Rockefeller of Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and cards spike at the flick of my wrist.
I can't believe you would do that intentionally and then lie about it. A
Yeah.
shame.
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
people think that that's who I am.
I remember I made a video about how Bean Soldier is a garbage vanilla card that nobody likes, so it never got reprinted, so it costs like $10 a pop. And then someone like bought them out after the video, and now it's like $50 a pop.
I called you out on Market Watch for that.
Really?
It's the middle cover of, or no, it's on the side of the thumbnail, but it's the first card I covered.
Oh, you should send me a link to that so I can watch it.
Yeah, 1 second. Here we go. But yeah, basically, it's more so just saying that you revived the meme that's happened before, which is why it was lower on quantity. It's actually a card that's been bought out in the past, unironically.
Yeah, someone like on Twitter sent me a not a message. They tweeted about it and had like a full binder full of Bean Soldiers, and I was like, his name was also like Bean Soldier or something.
Oh, I can't
Like-
message you because we don't share a server.
How do we not share?
That
server?
might be
But
on my
aren't you
end.
guys both my server?
Yeah, we're in your server right now.
Yeah, we're
It's
in your
very
server
weird.
right now, and we're friends on Discord too.
Yeah, that's weird.
Hmm.
Yeah, like we literally have a log of messages.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, speaking of looking at our old messages, I did a post that was to scare Crunchyroll and Jeff Bezos, and it's all Union monsters, and I put the Spirit of the Six Samurai on the Union monsters, and the number one asked question is, why is the Six Samurai there? I get the rest are Unions.
Yeah, why is the Six Samurai there?
Yeah, it's the, I think I'm the very first person to win with a Union monster in their deck when it comes to major events, but everyone forgets that it's a Union monster.
Oh, right. Six Samurais have a Union monster.
Yes, that's what I
only
messaged
know that
you
because
about.
I made a video on Union monsters.
Yeah, and you missed that one, and I
Yeah.
messaged you about it.
No, I didn't miss it. I left it out because it wasn't worth mentioning. Because it's like
I
it's a
won
random...
with it in my event in 2008, I'll have you know.
It's a random.
It won an event, a competitive Shonen Jump, which is now YCS's event.
But I don't like Six Samurais because of Gate, so I just kind of don't think about them.
The biased agenda of Duel Logs.
It is. I am very biased against Six Samurais.
Burying the Six Samurai history in the game.
Yeah, they need to ban Gate. You know that.
I do agree. I'm from before Gateway's time. People always say, "Oh yeah, you won with Six Sams. Gateway was a broken card," and I'm like, "No, before that." And they're like, "Wait, before Gateway?"
Before Gateway, there was a thing called Before Gateway Six Samurais.
Yeah, I know. I always joke that my win now legally would not be able to play in a dragon duel if it was a person.
Oh wow, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, it's over 13 years old. It
Wow,
cannot
you're
be a dragon
old,
duelist.
John. Even
I
though
know
I'm
I'm
older than
old.
you. I'm older than John.
It's now 15
really?
years older, so.
Yeah, I'm 33.
I'm 33 as well, but I turn 34 next year, yeah.
I turned 34 in 2 months. Which is like very weird for me to think about.
That shouldn't be any pressure. Like, age, like, there's so much societal pressure around the ages and stuff, and none of it matters. Like, here's a good one for content creation, speaking of. I had a super long-term follower go full K-Kona when I mentioned me and my wife plan to never have kids. And, like, people have this whole thing about kids and how they think you should live their life, and it even goes into the political spectrum some, right? So they called me extremely selfish. I have 3 brothers, my wife has 5 siblings, and we plan to be that central unit that can help, you know, alleviate them and help take care of their kids at any point in time. It's kind of what we're setting our whole life up to be, yet they wanted to call us selfish for not having kids. There's always going to be those, like,
how are you selfish for having kids?
Because the whole purpose of your life should be repopulating the planet, Duel Logs.
No, the number one biological desire is to reproduce.
Yeah, so it's selfish.
It's not a logical one, really. Like, I mean, I guess it can get a little bit muddy if you really think about the philosophy of it. It's like, if nobody had kids, then obviously there would be no future generations.
Yeah, so it gets
But that's not
political.
the case, and it will never be the case. There will always be kids. I don't know. As a therapist, I've just met so many like people whose lives have been ruined by their parents, and how many parents that just hate parenting so much, and their lives are ruined by their kids. So it's like you gotta think about that decision before you make it.
Somebody who's like traveled to events all their lives, I still like to go places. I'm just that way. So they even like tried to bring my dogs into it before I even like ever bought a dog. Emily like brought them in when she moved in. They're like, you're trying to use the dogs to cope and like replace children. They have like all these tactics. Yeah, it's crazy how deep it goes. But whenever you're in the sphere of being a creator, every single aspect of your life at some point is going to get like picked apart and like challenged for some reason as people try to reflect themselves through you and do their mock battles. But that was a big surprise. It's somebody who like followed the channel for 2 to 3 years, was super active in chat, that never showed up again after I like checked them. Like, geez.
That's such a weird thing to get so upset over.
Yeah, how dare you live your life that way?
Because it's like, that's not a common one. Like, there's a lot of topics you generally don't bring up because people tie their whole identities around it. They're like, yeah, I'm not going to talk about that because people will go crazy.
Population became a hotter topic recently with Elon Musk like being super active about the issue. But before that, it wasn't as loud, and this was way before that.
Yeah, that's weird. That's abnormal.
Yeah, you'll get into a lot of that with streaming if you actually like pay attention. And that's what a lot of people do want is a reaction. And so I, being a Texan, often do react to pretty much everything everybody says. And that's, you know,
Texans do?
yeah, well, you're raised to talk back, not to shut up and nod. It's a very common mentality here.
I didn't know that.
I mean, that seems like a common mentality like in the US. I didn't know that Texans like brought it upon themselves as that's a unique thing to them.
Now hold on a minute there, partner.
I've seen King of the Hill. I've seen all seasons of it. I know
tell you
Texas
what.
pretty well, and they've never once said that in King of the Hill.
And
that is a documentary, a fact.
Okay, so there's
satire.
something funny about King of the Hill too. The Japanese argue over the sub versus the dub of King of the Hill.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a true argument over there of if the sub or the dub is better.
Oh my god.
I would assume usually the dub is better.
Well, for them, they prefer the sub for the authenticity. It's the same argument.
Yeah, no, I mean like the authenticity. Yeah, usually like whatever was natively done in is better because like they hire the voice actor specifically for the characters. Whereas usually when they're dubbing it in like, you know, someone else's language, they just have whoever's in the studio.
Now, on the other end of
people
things,
specifically for it.
Something I did want to bring up content-wise here, as my name is Zodiac Duelist in stream, is the different places that are in the community and the reflections of them. So you have Zodiac, you have Reddit, you have Yu-Gi-Oh! Twitter, then you have YouTube, but that's a lot of different specific content creators. So each and every community has its different pull and how people typically interact, but also people coming in and out of those communities. And then Discord as well. And I feel like Zodiac's definitely, in terms of everything, the Hell group. And then you have Reddit. I think Master Duel Reddit is so much better than the regular Yu-Gi-Oh Reddit, since there's now 2 different realms there. I'm sure I haven't spent
full of brand new players.
I haven't spent a minute in the Duel Links Reddit, so I can't speak to that one. But
I haven't been there in a hot second either.
The Master Duel Reddit, just the level of memes, how it's moderated and everything, it's one of my favorite places to peek in at, even though I'm not as big a fan of the game. And then Twitter is interesting because it's the most vocal back and forth. And I know that Fifth Right can talk to this more, but I saw the post where somebody tried to like say that Shiggy's was trying to attract a younger audience and anime watchers or something. And I'm like, it's not tone deaf because you're being sexist. It's tone deaf because you think Yu-Gi-Oh! Has a large younger audience. Like, people on Twitter definitely try to do shock value attraction here and there, but overall the Yu-Gi-Oh! Community is pretty good on their discussions, I feel like, on Twitter. Twitter's a very interesting space where it's not really monetizable, but it's highly active.
Yeah, I like Twitter a lot.
Yeah.
I think sometimes it gets a little shameful, but, you know, and of course you have, like, the trolls or people saying something inappropriate, but for the most part, people will jump in if someone says something inappropriate and just tell that person that what they're doing is not okay. Like that guy that said that Shiggy's was like trying to lure anime boys or something like that. Like people will step up and say something, which I think is really good.
Yeah, his real issue is that, you know, it's a gal making the post, and he does, like, a follow-up in the tweet basically saying, oh, if it was flipped on this post, and it's like, if it was flipped, it wouldn't still be that big of a deal.
It would be
like, the sarcasm is dripping.
And we're all, like, fine with that, so...
Yeah, hey, Ruggles.
Yeah, Ruggles, I forgot.
I did that post.
Pics all the time.
I did the Adam Levine meme on Ruggles, and he was like, thanks, John.
That was funny. That was really funny. Yeah.
Dude, I can't believe how ripped he got.
Ruggles' picture, I was like, that guy plays Yu-Gi-Oh? Like...
He straight up looks like a Greek statue.
He looks like an actual, like, underwear model.
It is crazy, but my point standing is, like, Twitter is one extreme to Zodiac being another. Reddit feels like in the middle, and then each and every Yugitube's community is going to act differently. Like, Hardleg has one of the most wholesome Discords I've ever seen for the most part.
For
the only reason I stopped popping in is somebody kept purposely spoiling One Piece for me. I was getting tagged in One Piece because I told them that I liked it but wasn't keeping up, and they thought that would be a great discussion point on each and every week's chapter or something.
Oh no.
Yeah, some
Do you know
people
the
will
One
just
Piece
be
is
like
real?
that. They're excited to share like a mutual thing with somebody and whoever they can talk about it with.
Yeah.
But I was like, no, I'm trying to let it build up and watch it later, man.
How far did you get?
I stopped a long time ago. Like I started watching One Piece when it came out. Like Chopper was the first ever anime character to make me cry when the doctor died, and then I also cried at the Going Merry. I was very proud to have never cried at media until I was 18, eating Cheez-Its and drinking Diet Mountain Dew, and then Chopper comes on screen, and I'm like, Chopper.
Really, the Chopper part got you.
Yeah, dude, the doctor. I felt that, man.
Yeah, it was sad and everything, but
And then the Going
he
Merry
died
got
for a
me
dumb
too.
reason, though.
Okay.
I could never get that sad about it because I thought the reason he died was so dumb.
Look,
I cried at the end of Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters.
Really?
I did. I was so
Goodbye,
emotional. I was crying so hard, and then when Joey was like, "True friends are the ones you'll never forget," I was like, "You're right, Joey." And I thought about all my friends, and I was like, "I'm never gonna forget them." And now we're still friends. So Joey was right.
but past the iceberg arc to where I forget where I specifically started holding off. I think it's like the Beast People arc is where I took a pause from reading.
So right before Wano. No,
Yeah.
Big Island.
But I'm just letting it save up till I have actual A, more time, and B, the story doesn't stop progressing. Because like at that point, it kept the anime kept catching up to the manga, and they kept having to do filler or pauses, and it got annoying.
Oh yeah, they're never gonna stop that. The
Hot
anime-
take: One Piece and every manga over 200 chapters are overrated. You can finish a complete story in less. I disagree. Some things do carry themselves out gracefully, while others do putter out and only continue because of the entity it becomes. I completely disagree that just because it's long, it's overrated.
Yeah, people always say like, I don't want to start One Piece because it's too long, and it's like that just means you have more good stuff to watch.
A lot of people are also graded by the art, but I always liked that they had really...
the art's weird. I forgot
the
about
really
that.
unique characters like Usopp. I really was like, wow, this is an anime that doesn't just like have big booba boinga boinga and that stuff. But then after that 3-year jump, they made everybody big booba boinga boinga.
Yeah, pretty much.
They kind of adapted the modern anime instead of
Except
keeping
for Big
the-
Mom, she's an exception.
Yeah, they still do have unique characters, but like the main cast for the most part became like even Usopp got buff.
Yep, that's exactly what happened.
Yeah,
People complain like everybody looks like Nami now.
yeah, it's crazy.
I like My Hero
Yeah.
Academia. That's like the most I know about anime.
That's a solid one. I paused during after the what's his face arc with the mask. Right after his, I kind of took a pause, and I know it's coming back, so I'm about to start again probably.
Oh yeah, that was
What,
hella
dude?
dark. That was
My
hella
Hero
scary.
Academia, is it Overhaul? I think.
Yeah, Overhaul.
Oh, the
guy with
Overhaul
that,
dude.
Like, big
Yeah, I
feet.
finished that arc, so I'm like barely behind. They're about to have like
Ooh.
the school arc.
Yeah, that's the point where people said it went downhill afterwards.
Oh, I just paused. I like got busy.
No, I keep up with it. I watch it and everything.
Nice.
It's more like what's happening now is just a whole bunch of random bullshit. It's not as good as it used to be.
That reminds me of the old meme. Random bullshit, go.
I
It
like
is. They're like, well, I don't want to. He kind of just like gave up on trying to properly pace the story and just kind of rushed to the end.
But onto this topic, back into the main topic. One thing that I really do enjoy expressing is different interests besides Yu-Gi-Oh! I've seen the Crush Cards actually talk about how they felt like they didn't have much else in life besides Yu-Gi-Oh! And then bringing up Pokemon, and how they felt pressured to tie everything into content, and like if they're not doing content, they're wasting time. And I think a lot of creators get wrapped up specifically into that. Like if I'm not working, I'm wasting, I should be sharing this, or I should be doing this, or I should be pushing this into some form of medium. And I think it's really healthy to find your balance with that. Like for Godzilla in stream, pretty much any Godzilla like question or comment is going to sidetrack me for 15 minutes like we just got sidetracked. But I think it's okay to have those passions and connect with people about different things, and it's even a good thing in some cases where other times it'll distract and detract from what you're doing. But I think it's good to find those balances, and I think creators have a really hard time finding that.
Yeah, like I would really love to talk about mental health more because that's like a huge passion of mine. And I've had streams where we talk about mental health that get really intimate and chat's really active and it's just like a really fun and warm experience. But that doesn't always happen. Sometimes there's streams where I'm talking about mental health is completely silent and I feel like a fool. So like I don't really know how to like branch into that whenever it's like to talk about something I care so much about in a way that I can do it on Twitch and stuff.
Yeah, it's not always gonna hit, and you gotta just like kind of read the room, so to speak. But it's going to be like finding that balance of it. Like a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh creators, for example, are branching out into multiple games, especially with the subathons. Like how Farfa had like the Pokemon run, and then other stuff, and then Coder started the Super Mario speed runs, and people were actually really into that through his first subathon, and now he branched into a ton of games, expresses interest on that. Like I think Godzilla posts will sometimes be my least interacted with on Twitter, for example, where I don't care what happens with Twitter because there's no end game to it. I oddly get way more traction on Twitter than I think I should. But the Godzilla posts will be my lowest ones, and I'll just not care. I'll post them anyways. It's like, this is what I like. So sometimes it's not about the numbers or how many. It's more about like just sharing something with people who keep up.
That's like me posting about my cats incessantly. It's like, I don't freaking care if I just posted about them an hour ago. They did something cute, and I want everyone to know about it.
Man, I come to this, to that whole thing just from a completely different angle because I run so many different YouTube channels. So it's like...
so you kind of do turn it into media a lot, huh?
Yeah, like, whatchamacallit, for a long time, I've already had like a work-life balance where if I'm doing something for fun, I don't think about making it into content. I just do it for fun.
Yeah, like you just talked about anime, but you don't turn a lot of that into content,
I don't turn
right?
any of it into content. Yeah, I don't have an anime channel or like anything about manga, even though like every day I dedicate 2 hours to reading manga at night. And I watch like 2 episodes of anime every day while like I'm eating my breakfast and lunch.
Do exactly that. I go, I get lunch or I cook lunch, and I sit down with my wife and we watch like the anime of the day.
Yeah, so like I am like super duper into the anime community, but I don't make any content about it, and I have no like pressure to either. And if I ever talk about anime or I go too much about it on stream, usually I see like a dip. Like people will actually just leave if I talk about it too much.
Yeah, I usually save it for the last hour of the night if I can, when it's like, okay, it's time to talk about like this season's upcoming animes, and we'll pull up the My Anime list and that kind of stuff of what's coming out and talk about it. And usually about a third of the chat does dip, yes.
Yeah, but I don't like I don't stop myself. I don't go out of my way to be like, no, I can't do this. Otherwise, I'm going to lose like 100 people if I start talking too much about One Piece or whatever. Because the thing is, when you're a streamer and you're doing all these things, talking about your interest outside of the thing you make content for, like just makes you seem like a more well-rounded individual. And people like to see that. They like it if they can relate to someone who seems like a more of a real person rather than just constantly talking about Yu-Gi-Oh!
I'm a giant Yu-Gi-Oh ad.
Yeah, just as long as you don't go overboard with it. Usually it is only a positive, even if like the engagement is down. Just because it makes you seem like more of a real person, and people like to follow people who feel like more of a real person because so many people are bad at portraying themselves as a real person online.
And I think
they're only overly positive. They only ever talk about whatever's on topic. You know, they seem like too much, like they're doing things just for metrics, or because that's what their audience wants to see. If you do something that isn't for metrics, it's just what you like, but you don't go overboard with it, it makes you feel like more of a real person, and it just makes you more relatable.
I think the top streamers all diversifying have definitely helped that spread downward through the community too, because Farfa's done it, Coder's done it, and now like other big streamers will do like bits and pieces here and there that aren't like just Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, like on my Yu-Gi-Oh channel, I only do Yu-Gi-Oh stuff, but that's just because I have other channels for other things.
Exactly. Somebody can go find your World of Warcraft and go, how many comments do you get? Wait, are you dual logs?
I think a couple every day. I don't really read comments anymore. It's too many of them.
All right, that's another one for me. I feel like I could never let go of reading comments, but I do understand the why some creators do it. I'm a mental fortress built for it, dual logs.
I will read comments of a video that I've posted that day, and rarely will I go back to it afterwards. And I don't really look at comments from past videos just because, like, if I sat there and read comments on all my channels, it would just take too long. Like,
it would take up time from what you're currently doing. First off, with the volume that you're doing, and then
I work at like a crazy, because I have like 25 employees and I have to like deal with all of them all the time. And of the 6 channels I run, 6 of them are in development hell. So there's just a constant stream of stuff to do.
Yeah, that's one thing that people missed out on the, oh, it's only the top % of streamers getting hit, they're greedy argument, is that a lot of people have employees to also pay off, and that cut into their paycheck is going to drastically hurt that.
Yeah, to an extent. Like, you know, I was actually talking about that on stream too. I was like, it's only affecting like the most rich of the creators. And it's like, as someone who's in that bracket, I can tell you it's really not that big a deal.
Yeah, but it will affect like their ability to like
it will, but most
to pile
of them
on things and try
don't
new
work
things.
at the volume I do. Most of them are just like single people who just do their own thing, and they just have more money than they really need. At a certain point, when you make a whole bunch of money, making more isn't going to improve your quality of life. It's just excessive.
Well, my point is quality of content, like for those that do bring on employees,
but like for sure, but like most of them do not hire as many people as I do, and they make like 10 times as much.
Yeah, it's a lot of diversification in terms of also revenue streams where like it's not just Twitch subs. Of course there's donations, there's bits, there's other X factors, and then there'll be YouTube ad revenue, and then that stream. So like in the grand scheme of things, it is a bit of a hit though. Like the main thing that I think was angrier for the smaller creators was the definite that we're not going to ever go to 70-30 for the smaller creators either.
Yeah, like there are other issues to it. Like it's totally valid. They're mad about losing any money at all because, you know, they're just losing money for no reason. Like Amazon doesn't need to do that.
Oh, and the other thing I find funny from Twitch's side is that they're saying, oh, it costs so much to stream and broadcast the video when it's through Amazon's services and servers and stuff like that. So how much does it really cost them on the back end versus
to run at a loss for like 100 years?
Yeah, but on top of that, what I'm saying is they can also be like quoting a price as a cost when they're charging it to themselves, in a sense.
Yeah. But like, you know, if they need to make more money, taxing the rich is probably the best way to do it, in my opinion. But I don't think they need to, and they're just doing it because they think they can get away with it.
Yep. They did it right after the gambling announcement, which isn't even banning gambling. It banned 4 sites and literally says, hey, you'll have to use these US sites and work with them instead.
Yeah. Yeah, Twitch is shady.
It's weird. It's very weird.
I've never liked Twitch. You know, the only reason I stream on Twitch is because I saw one of Zarya's like podcasts.
Ooh.
And she was talking with all these other creators. And they were talking about how they like metagame their time on Twitch to get a raid by Farfa. And I was like, oh my god, they like I thought that was fine and everything. I just didn't know like people were so interconnected with Twitch to that extent.
Yeah,
like,
so that's the one big function that YouTube's missing. Ironically, on a YouTube stream, when Logan Paul ended his Pokemon stream, opening the cards where he was selling the thing and caused the whole Pokemon boom, I was drunk streaming and still on YouTube, which usually I'm on Twitch only by that time, and I got the indirect raid because you can't send audiences, but a stream will get suggested. I was the suggested stream after that, and like I was probably the worst person to like send that audience to, because I was like, what's up, Low Gang, and then I did the yeah from the Suicide Forest video and all that stuff. I was definitely the wrong person to send that traffic to.
Yeah, they have that now. Like they've barely just made it so that you can raid anyone on YouTube instead of just people who allow you to do it. But
Yeah,
even
they're
then,
gearing up, and I really think
yeah,
that's neat. Like, they're talking about, like, can we make the emotes available on other channels, and they're reviewing everything, and the 70-30 split has always been consistent across YouTube. I'm pretty sure that's even how the ad revenue works.
well, the ad revenue is 55-45, but like the splits for everything has always been 70%. But
Yeah,
like the thing is, like from like a networking perspective, the people on Twitch are so ingrained with Twitch that if you're not on Twitch, then the networking opportunities are just not really there. Like they're not even, there's not like an exclusive club that they're like, we'll never collab with anyone who's not on Twitch. It's just easier to collab with people on Twitch.
yes.
Like even like in the VTuber scene, there's some people who stream on YouTube and stream on Twitch. And the ones who stream on YouTube, they're always like, man, I wish I could stream on Twitch because like nobody wants to collab with me, even though we both stream at the same times, just because I'm on YouTube. And like there's really no reason not to, other than the fact that the bots and stuff don't support just like automatically shouting out the channel. You have to type it in manually, but it's still the same result of just posting a link in chat. But like
People
just
are
the little
very
hurdles.
ingrained also into like, oh, I don't
Yeah.
want to give up my subs having their 6-year badge and that sort of stuff. YouTube started the badges, but people are just so much more adverse to the channel memberships than
Well,
the
it's not even just that. It's just like other people who already stream on Twitch and people who stream on YouTube, the collaborations just aren't as naturally there just because they're on different platforms, even though it really shouldn't be that way. It's just a cultural thing. It's just like you're on Twitch, we're part of the Twitch crew.
I think on
The
a macro
YouTubers,
that's
they're
true,
on like
but
a different thing.
for Yu-Gi-Oh as a whole, like Coder reached out to tons and tons of Yugitubers before he even like started YouTube channel. I'm the one who like pressured him into starting YouTube. I would message him every couple weeks, hey, start your YouTube. Just make it a clip channel if you have it. Start your YouTube. And now he's like skyrocketing up there. But like I feel like in total a lot of the Yugitubers came in to be streamers, and there were very few people who started as streamers in the Yu-Gi-Oh community. But now as other communities come in more due to Master Duel and other things are there, I guess that can be more true today.
Yeah, there's been more of a shift ever since Master Duel came out. Because like I didn't really take streaming, because whatchamacallit, I remember I tried to do a project and I need to hire a whole bunch of people for it, but everybody I reached out to didn't want to work with me because I was the top 10 YouTuber. So I started doing streaming on Twitch in order to make better connections. Because on YouTube, whatchamacallit, there was other problems with the brand other than just the fact that I stream on YouTube. It's, if you're a top 10 maker, that's a bad rap just because there's so many terrible top 10 channels. Like, let's be honest.
How dare you watch Mojo? Yeah, I think
yeah.
I think four
Not
of
even
my
just watch Mojo. Like, there's some people who are like scummy people who just want to do YouTube for money. They're like, what's the easiest way to do it? I'll make top 10 videos.
I think
and
four
then
of my
those are
top
all the
10
channels that get
videos.
recommended to you. There's just so many bad top 10 channels out there.
4 of my top 10 most watched videos are still top 10s.
Yeah.
Like it's a very easy play to the algorithm, yeah.
Yeah, like there are in all the other communities that I like a branch into with the top 10 stuff, there's always someone who's already been doing it beforehand. And the only reason my stuff stands out is because I actually like take it seriously and make the videos good. And then people are like so just surprised, like, oh my god, I can't believe you didn't spend the first 2 minutes of the video advertising your Patreon. It's like, yeah, of course not. That's stupid.
Yeah, pacing is also very bad. So one thing I always compare for the Yu-Gi-Oh community to other communities is the Yu-Gi-Oh community is kind of in its bubble to where it's always 3 to 4 years behind the others. It started catching up a lot more with Team Samurai X1, who kind of looked at the giant vlog style channels and pulled it more inwards towards the Yu-Gi-Oh community. And now like Farfa at one point really copied PewDiePie to a good degree. Like the meme review, you'll even kind of see him do it in his videos and stuff. A while ago when he starts to look more at the setup, and then he gets way more ingrained into the Twitch culture. He gets editors, and that's a big thing. Editors did not appear in our community as a whole. I don't know when you started your first editors into the Yu-Gi-Oh channels, but hiring editors kind of started taking off during the pandemic here, which like is, way later than most other communities.
Yeah,
But the
whole
money
editor
just
thing.
wasn't here in the community either. Like I said, I got people to do mid rolls, and how are people affording editors without mid rolls?
I remember once Farfa messaged me. He's like, "How much do you pay your editors?" Because he wants to hire one. And I told him the prices. He's like, "Wow, that's too much. You pay your editors too much money."
Is it like 20 to 30% of the first month, or
50%?
50? Yeah, I think the average in the industry is 30, isn't it?
Yeah, I pay above rate for all that stuff. That's why all my editors, I won't say they're good. A lot of them are kind of lazy, to be honest. Like I said, 4 of my channels are in development now. Just because you pay your editors a lot doesn't mean they're gonna do work. Editing is very arduous. It's not fun.
That's why I don't do it. That's why I search far and wide for people who will do it for me.
Yeah,
that's why I didn't post a lot, because both my editors stopped doing stuff for me, and then I didn't have anything I could post.
Yeah, for me, with Market Watch, I take it as a compliment when people think it's edited. For the first part of it, I could probably transform it into more digestible long-term content. But card prices change in a couple days, so I just prefer my short form, go in, talk about everything, learn to talk more fluidly, eliminate my uhs, and just talk through the entire subject of the video and have all the tabs laid out. I think Ludwig actually does very similar on his Mogul Mail, where he's pretty good at talking through everything. I think there's some light editing there, but for the most part, I think he just sets up and is able to talk through a lot of the conversation for story time.
With editing can really help you stand out from everybody else, because like when people first get into YouTube, they have fun just posting videos that are easy to make, because it's a lot more fun to keep at it and more motivating if you can make the videos quickly rather than get demotivated by the low amount of views. And if you put a whole bunch of time and effort into editing and nobody watches your stuff brand new, it's a lot easier to burn out a lot quicker.
It can be crushing to think you created this amazing thing that everyone needs to see and 50 people show up.
Yeah, exactly. And if you took like 10 minutes to make that video, then it's a lot easier to make another one afterwards. And like the perseverance is how you really get going. But if you do stick to it, the edited content helps you stick out at like the high end.
So my big 4 that I tell every single new creator is the 4 things that can carry a channel. Number 1 is personality. It's irreplaceable. You can grow as a person in personality and how you're talking, which is why a lot of people give themselves kind of a character that they play at times and bolster themselves to like try to bolster personality. But the number 1 is personality. That's why you'll see a channel like Triff's that's like fuzzy camera, barely able to pick it up. Let's go! And people find it completely entertaining. XQC is another example of somebody who like refuses to up quality at times, and even has the meme of 6 consoles and all that stuff. So personality can hard carry a channel, but my number 2 is quality, which includes editing, audio, camera quality, all that sort of stuff comes into probably the second most important part of a YouTube channel. My number 3 is entertainment value. Did I laugh? Did I learn? What did I get out of this video? And my number 4 is subject matter. What is the ceiling on the subject? How competitive is the field? What do you bring to the table different than others? And subject matter, I feel like, is what a lot of people mess up on, even though it's the 4th most important, because
I would say it's the most important. Like, you have that backwards. Subject matter is more important than having a good personality.
Well,
I can tell you for a fact, there are some really boring ass people who make interesting videos because like the subject matter itself is great. Like, for example, I have tons of stinker ideas that failed, and I also have tons of ideas that have done very well, if we just ignore the top 10s. And like, that's my bread and butter for sure, but I also have other things that have done incredibly well that aren't top 10 videos. And I can tell you, it's a good idea just is so much better than trying to polish a turd.
But, well, when I'm saying subject matter, I'm saying, like, field. Like, am I doing Yu-Gi-Oh videos? Am I doing Fortnite videos?
Like, even if you decide to do those, it all, like, depends on, like, how you cover it.
Yeah, the subsection of that is what do you bring to the table? Am I another SEMO copy? Am I 50th Market
Yeah,
Watch
like
channel.
that idea is more important than everything else. You can be the most boring person in the world, but if you have a banger idea and you execute it, it's gonna grow great.
Well, the reason I put it down is you can either find the niche, which is what a lot of people settle into, like you've branched out into multiple different areas, but if you do it in a major area and you're successful, you will get copied into the ground immediately and drowned out as the original
Yes.
if you're not able to keep up
Unless,
pace.
yeah, in my particular niche, I don't have very many copycats because my videos are scripted and highly edited, and you can't do that by yourself. You need like a team of people.
So that's why I put it lower, that's because it depends upon which field you're going into with a banger of an idea. Sometimes it'll get drowned out immediately.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think a banger of an idea is more important than everything else.
I agree that ideas, yeah, like what your videos are doing is insanely important.
Mm-hmm. Because I know some of the best edited videos I've ever seen on YouTube, outside like professional companies, is actually like in the Spanish side of Yu-Gi-Oh! For like their replay videos.
Are you talking
Like,
about El Exordia?
No,
Ah.
not him. He's like the most popular one for sure. But no, I've seen even smaller channels who have better editing than him. Like I remember one time I saw this video and I was like so impressed. I like looked up his information to see if I could hire him like immediately. But he didn't have like a business email. And also I don't know Spanish.
Fair.
But like their videos are so ridiculously well edited that it's like you have to be like a professional like effects artist or something. And they have like 500 views. And it's just because the videos they're doing replays. Like nobody watches. Well, people obviously do watch. I watch replay videos, but it's not like a huge lucrative market.
They don't get traction into subscribers. The same with combo videos. I do think that Pack is helping kind of change that mentality in a sense, which also, again, somebody coming in somewhere can change things. But historically in the community, just a combo video doesn't do enough. And they add a lot of flair, lingo from the professional things. Like they have the goo cast and stuff like, oh, what's goo? It just means it's good. But it's the goo and you like do the pot stir and stuff. Like there's people that by themselves that aren't even tubers that warp the entire perspective of the community in terms of the words that other tubers will pick up on. And like that kind of culture shift and change in personality flair to doing combos or to doing discussions or deck profile and combo that usually didn't get traction. That's what can pull you in, again, is that personality / that feeling of the video. But historically, yeah, historically,
I started making some engines videos, which are basically combos things. And I basically started producing them with the intention that I was going to lose money on them because the idea is just not attractive. But I thought the videos would be useful. They'd be great to give to people who didn't know what the hell I was doing on stream. And I was like, it's worth the loss of money because I'm not going to lose that much money with it. But I did not make them with an intention at all that they would do well.
How was the like subscriber traction versus the usual video too?
You know how like it gives you the 10 out of 10 on YouTube whenever you
yeah.
They're always 10 out of 10s.
That's fair.
But they still get like 50,000 views. Like they don't completely bomb either. It's just I don't make them with the intention that they're going to do well because like the topic itself is not attractive. Even though I do polish the turd as much as possible. Like I put a lot more effort into like the intros for those. We actually like put some of those intros on TikTok and they did really well because they're edited well. But
but there is a ceiling to people wanting to learn and get better and take their game to the next level versus just wondering what's the best deck. Okay, I have the answer. I'm gone.
Yeah, like I'm not trying to grow with those videos. I literally made them because I knew like the idea wasn't good enough. But that's what I mean with like the ideas. Like what if that's all you do and you're trying to grow?
Yeah, there's a ceiling to it.
Yeah, because the idea is just not attractive enough. That's why like the idea is like the most important thing.
Yeah, that's why I really liked Market Watch. A, I had the experience of being a vendor in the community. B, the ceiling still is how many people care to keep up with the card prices and why. But everybody, for the most part, has a trade binder. And that was my thought of, okay, so since almost everybody has a trade binder, to a degree, people will care about, like, card prices. But again, there's still the ceiling on people who care about why or what's moving, where they bother checking in with card prices.
Yeah, like, I've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh! For 20 years, pretty much nonstop. I can tell you I don't care about card prices. I never have. It's because I rarely play physical Yu-Gi-Oh. So like whatchamacallit. There are, obviously this because it's your market. There's people who just don't care about physical Yu-Gi-Oh. They just play online
Exactly, very
simulators.
much so. Or they like to collect, but they don't even care an inch about playing.
Oh yeah, there's collectors too. I forgot about that.
Yeah, that's I guess the Instagram's the one I left out because I never frequent it. It feels like a very big area of people basically just flexing graded cards and trying to get people into the lifestyle.
Graded cards?
That's huge over on Insta. That's basically where the entire community pushes card grading. Ruxin is an example of a Yugituber who balances pack openings with discussions about that kind of stuff, and he has a huge Instagram. But I feel like Yu-Gi-Oh! Insta itself is just like vendors trying to get other vendors into lifestyles and look at all these likes I got on this graded card, you could have that too, that kind of stuff.
I didn't know Yu-Gi-Oh! Instagram was a thing.
It's huge. It's huge. I just don't care about Insta that much.
Yeah, neither do I. I don't use it. I have like my brand manager who started an Instagram account for the channel.
Gotta show off some shiny cardboard.
Okay,
Yeah,
guys.
yeah.
We are at time. Thank you so much for being on my stream, John and Duelogs. I really appreciate it. Is there anything else you want to add, and how can we find you guys?
No problem. I'm always down to nerd out about this kind of stuff. House of Champs on YouTube, as I mentioned, Twitter as well. Feel free to follow.
Yeah. Me too. I am House of Champs on YouTube. And on Twitter, I go by the Zodiac Duelist. No, it's Zodiac, right? Not Zodiac.
Yeah, it's Zodiac. People do confuse that. There's actually a Zodiac Duelist group. The irony of Zodiac is it also started out as a deck group. It was Duelist of the Stars, and it was about the Pleiades monsters.
Oh.
Like the Constellars, yeah.
They have so many Constellar-like archetypes. Don't they have like 3 of them now?
There's Teller Knights, there's Constellars, and is there a
Zodiacs.
third? Well, Zodiac is
oh no, that's a Chinese thing.
Calendar.
The calendar, yeah. No, it's different. I guess it's just those. What about the Starry Nights? Aren't those Constellars?
Oh, those
too?
are new. They do look very similar too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it started out as a group around those. I didn't jump on until later, and I was like, I'm going to help fix this community, and I did not help fix the community. Oh, man. Zodiac is very much its own hive mind that, like I said, is very close to a hell group, but directionally once in a while does something right. But for the most part, it's just people baiting each other into bickering.
Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is just like one thing I do, so I don't know too much about all the niche communities.
Well, my suggestion is don't get to know Zodiac Duelist. Move on with your day.
Take your word on it.
Alright, I have to feed my cats. They are asking me to feed them with their cute, cute eyes. If you would like to see my cats on Twitter, forget the podcast, forget what's going to happen on YouTube. Just look at my cats on Twitter, twitter.com/BigSpaceDuelist. Thank you very much, and leave a comment and whatever. Okay, bye-bye.